Hello there. Welcome back to Sylvia's Essentials Makeup Tips for the Blind. And I'm here to do another video. Simple meals is what this video is about. If you're single or if you're just a couple that's that doesn't have a family yet, or maybe even one kid, or even two kids. It really doesn't matter if the kids or not. But anyways, this is a video about making a simple meal that a neighbor actually gave me the recipe for, and I thought I'd come up here and share it with you. If you're blind or low vision, it's a simple meal. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. Okay, so let me have my camera ready to show you how to make this. Give me a second. Hope you're all doing wonderful out there. It's actually Halloween today, but it's still mid-afternoon here where I'm at. So trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood won't be out for another, at least I'd say 2 to 3 hours, if at all, because things are different now, where a lot of families now take their kids to trunk or treats due to the fact to the way things are nowadays. It's not the same as it was then when I was trick-or-treating to the way things are today, and it's kind of sad in a way. So, but let's spread positivity here. All right, I got my camera ready to go. And like I said, I hope you get something out of this video. This is a simple meal. So what I'm going to prepare today is a over-the-stove casserole with using top ramen noodles. So, most of us are familiar with top ramen or Roman noodles, however you want to say it. And it's going to be mixed together with some ground beef and a little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, some seasoning, salt, pepper. As you know, out there, a lot of you, I use pink Himalayan salt, which is a healthier mineral salt. And you can also add more seasonings, pepper, garlic powder if you wanted to do it with a little extra more seasoning, because it's always good to have lots of flavor in your cooking. All right, so first thing is, I have my noodles here already cooked. So what I did is I boiled these in the microwave in some water. So what you do is if you want to use 2 packets of top ramen, that's what I did for this recipe, is you can cook this, well, depending on your microwave, of course, but in my microwave, I had crushed them down in the package, and I had covered them with water above the noodles, and I had cooked these for 4 minutes in the microwave until I took a fork and made sure that they were done. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is drain this in my colander, because I'm going to use my same colander to drain the meat. So I'm going to drain this just to make sure all the water is out of it. There wasn't really a whole lot of water. And I just cooked it in a microwave container. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back into this container here slowly, because I don't want to spill this into the sink. But even if I did, my sink is clean. Everything's been washed. My hands have been washed. All right. So I'm going to set that aside on my counter over here until I'm ready. Hold on. I feel there's a little bit more in here. Those of you that are low vision out there, sorry if I had the colander a little too close to the camera. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn my stove up to high heat. If you don't know, I do have an electric stove. And then over here, I have my chopped, diced, hold on, let me get my knife off of here. I have my chopped, diced onions and 1 clove of garlic. So I'm gonna set that up here for now on top of this pot there. Okay, I have my fork here that I'm going to use to break down the meat. And then I have my big spoon here, which I will use later to mix the noodles and the meat up. This is real simple. So I'm waiting for my meat to heat up. I'm hearing it starting to sizzle. Now, I usually don't season my meat until after it's cooked, but you can season your meat while it's cooking as well. So now I'm going to go in here with my ground beef that I already placed in here, and I'm going to start breaking it down. Now, I'm not going to turn down my heat until I break this down a little bit, because you want to get your meat going. And I'm just mushing it with my fork, the back of the fork, and while I'm cutting it up with the side of the fork, if you didn't know out there. But some people don't know how to break down hamburger meat or ground turkey or ground sausage. Okay, I'm going to turn this heat down a little bit now. I'm going to turn it to about 7 o'clock. And you just want to feel till it breaks down. And you want to go by the sound while you're cooking it as well. All around your pan. It's always good to use a pan that has a high lip around it. Or exterior, I should say, as we say in math class, exterior of an object. Your meat is interior area to the power of X. Okay. You hear how it's quieted now? Because you don't want to cook your meat too fast either while you're breaking it down. If you're blind, just take your time and just feel all around your pan, inside, outside where your meat is. Kind of like take your fork as well and push your meat like back into the center of the pan. Okay, I think that's broken down enough. And then once you break it down, then you want to flip it over. Take your fork and start flipping your meat over, so it can start cooking on the other side. Now I'm going to bring this heat back up now. So I'm going to bring this back up to medium heat. just to get it cooking again on a higher temperature. Hope you enjoyed, I believe, yeah, the last cooking video I did with my friend Crystal. It was titled Crystal's Sloppy Joes. They were delicious. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Those of you that have watched it. Okay, start just mixing it around. Bring the heat. Now I'm doing my meat to 5 o'clock on your dial. So it's not too high, but it's not too low cookiness either. Just get this going now. So you want to turn your stove up high to get it going from the beginning. Then turn it down to 6 or 7 o'clock in the breaking down of your meat process. Then you want to bring your heat back up to medium heat just to get it going again so it can finish cooking. Gets easier with practice. Just mixing it. So everything's cooked. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, so I kind of just know the sense when the meat is ready to pull off my stove. So I'm just gonna let that cook. Stay for about another minute. Sorry about the noise there. That was a motorcycle going by. I said I have a major street in front of where I live. So meat is starting to smell good. Okay, I'm going to stir this up some now. Now, by the sound of the meat, I can tell it's almost done. And not only that, you're going to feel a different texture with your fork or spoon, whatever you're using. Just stir it up. You hear that? That sound? It's a different type of sound, isn't it? That your meat is almost done. So you don't have to visually see your meat when it's done. You go by sound. Okay. All right. Almost done. Hear that sound? That crackling, popping type of sound? That's an indicator. It's almost done. Just keep stirring your meat so it cooks evenly on all sides of it. And a lot of times when you fry certain things, like maybe a piece of sausage or something like that, or even a burger in some cases, the sound of the sizzle will die down as another indicator too with certain meats. Okay, this is done. Turn my heat off. Hear that? That means pretty much done. Now, even though this is hot, I'm going to put this in my colander. Just be careful. Let me, I'm gonna push my sink back. I don't want to touch the hot pot on my sink. Okay, and I'm gonna feel to center my pan into my colander, drain the grease. Check periodically if you have a small colander like what I'm using now, that the colander is standing up in your stove. You don't want to get meat in your sink. All right, got that. I'm gonna let that drain a second. Shaking my colander a little bit, just help drain this oil. Wow, I can't believe it's already the weekend again. This week just flew by. But it was pretty productive week. Hope yours was as well. It's always good to stay busy and active. Especially, you know, when we get older, you know, it's just good to stay active. Just find something to do in your life that you enjoy doing, you know. You know, besides, you know, exercise, which is real important. Even if you're walking, you know, with your cane or your guide dog, you know, just try to stay active out there while you try to put in those 16 ounces, 2 bottles, 16-ounce bottles of water in each day. But hey, if you can drink a gallon of water, if your body can handle it, great. I don't think I've ever drank a gallon of water in one day. I don't know, though. I might have in the hotter times of the year. I might have. Okay. It could have drained a little bit longer, but because of this cooking video, I want to get this going. And plus I'm hungry. This is actually like a late lunch for me today. I had breakfast, but it's like a late lunch. I believe I got it all out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my stove. All right, so I'm gonna spread this around. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to need some moisture in this, okay? So I'm gonna use water. So let me get my measuring cup. Got a 1 cup measuring cup here. I'm going to turn on my water purifier on my sink. And I'm gonna use a cup of water. Well, you know what, I'm not going to pour the whole cup because, like I said, I'm actually sharing doing this recipe with you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like pour a little bit as I go while I boil. But I don't think a cup of water will be too much. So I'm gonna pour, let's say maybe a half in here for now, just to see how it, let me turn my stove back on high, get it going, just to see what I think. But I got a feeling it is gonna need a cup because you wanna be able to cook those noodles in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the cup. So yeah, 1 cup of water. Because once it starts boiling, you know, it's gonna boil down. And plus you don't want this recipe dry. You want moisture in it. And you want your onion and garlic to cook down in there as well into the meat. So while this is boiling, I'm gonna start adding my seasonings. Let me get my, excuse me there. I got 2 packages of salt here. I'm going to use this one. I'm gonna start adding my seasoning. So I'm gonna do 2 good pinches of salt in this. Pink Himalayan salt, 2 good pinches. Starting to come to a boil. I swore I had taken my pepper. Yeah, here it is. I'm gonna add some pepper. Generous amount of pepper there. Okay, I'm gonna bring down this to, I'm gonna bring it down to 6 o'clock on my dial. All right. Now I'm gonna add my chopped onions and garlic. I would really suggest you practice where the center of your skillet is, because don't necessarily do what I did, and that's like lightly, quickly touch the edge of it. But I've been doing this for so long, you know, there's still a little bit more left on here. Okay, set that aside. I'm mixing it around. Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring this to more of a boil. So I'm gonna turn it back on high. I wanna bring it more to a boil before I add my top ramen noodles. So I got chopped, a little bit of chopped onion, chopped up really fine, and 1 fine chopped clove of garlic. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Pepper makes me sneeze. Black pepper. Okay, I'm into a good boil there. Just want some of this water to boil down. And like I said, cooking the garlic and the onions. Give it some flavor here. Okay, it's boiling really good. So I'm gonna turn this down back to 6 o'clock. Now I'm going to grab my noodles that I drained earlier. Like I said, I used 2 packages of crushed top ramen. Cooked it, boiled them for 4 minutes in the microwave. And I'm going to put this into and I'm going to mix this together. Smells delicious. So you want to mix this in with your meat. And this is a pretty decent portion for two people, or maybe 3, with 2 packets of top ramen. I would probably say more likely 2 people. Now, if it's just you, you have enough for leftovers. And we all love those leftovers, right? Mixing this together. Just remember to let your cup of water, boil down a little bit before you add your noodles. Like I said, for moisture purposes. Okay, got that mixed together. And then, to top this off, I'm going to add some cheese. And I didn't put my cheese out. Let me get it. Hold on. Oh, got a lot of stuff on the door here. I made a picture of Kool-Aid last night, and it's taking like the whole right space of my refrigerator. Okay. And I'm just using some sharp cheddar cheese slices that we use for sandwiches. Or you could use any cheese that you prefer. And I'm gonna add 3 in here. 3 slices. Like I said, I'm using sharp cheddar. I love cheddar cheese. I love sharp cheddar, and I even love extra sharp. Those 2 are my favorite because it just gives, I don't know, my mac and cheese and other recipes more of that sharp flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cheese, take it back in my fork and pushing it down. So it can melt into just let that melt into there. Now, if you feel you need to add more water, you can do so. Because I think I'm going to need to add a little more water to this before I simmer it. So I'm mixing the cheese. Because the cheese needs to simmer and break down into it. That's why. It's always good to simmer your cheese. Because a lot of times, if you put your cheese in something hot, a lot of times, and depending on the cheese as well, it may not break down like you want it to. Trust me, I learned that from experience. Okay, so I got my cheese in there, and I'm gonna add a little more water. Find my watering. See where I put it. I don't see it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this container that I used my noodles. I'm just gonna pour it in here and just add. It's just so it doesn't dry out, and so the cheese will come out more of a creamier texture as well from your liquid. Oh wow, smells good. Okay, so I'm just giving this a stir around. I'm gonna turn this down to more simmer now. So about 9 o'clock. And I'm going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes, just so that cheese will cook down in there. And I don't have a lid for this pot, so I'm going to use aluminum foil to cover it. Hold on a second. I'm going to use aluminum foil here to cover it. I always ask to be careful around heat. I'm just going to quickly cover this. Like I said, it's best to have a skillet that comes with a lid, but I also learned to learn to use what you have. And I did that pretty quickly because I don't want to burn my hand. All right, so I'm gonna let this simmer, like I said, for 5 minutes, and then it should be done. But remember, don't worry about having to add more water to certain recipes if the water evaporates a little quickly. Okay, just make sure you want to keep moisture in this recipe while it's simmering. Okay. All right. Hope you got something out of this video. How to make this top ramen ground beef. I call it a casserole. It's something quick, easy to make, and you could even make it and share it with friends, okay? All right, so please like, share, and subscribe. Please hit your notification bell so you'll know when I'm up here posting a video. And let your friends know about Sylvia's Essentials, makeup tips for the blind, and more, where I show how to make some quick, easy, delicious meals and how to do it safely in the kitchen, and just learning how to make some delicious meals. If you're a busy person, meals like this is great. When you get home after a busy day, or even if you have to go out again. So, all right, take care, everyone. See you on my next video. Okay, bye.